The teaser trailer to Avatar: The Way of Water has been out for a week now at the time of making this video, and I've probably watched it around 24 times, and it feels like every time I see more and more details, especially if you compare it visually to the original film. Hope you're doing well and having a great day, and in this video I wanted to go over the teaser trailer comparing the visual aspects of this film as it is being released 13 years after the first film. Now don't get me wrong, the first Avatar movie is still a fantastic visual treat and holds up incredibly well, but if you compare details, especially the environment of the teaser to the first film, you'll see just how much improved. Going over the teaser from start to finish, right off the bat you can see a major improvement during this scene of the floating or Hallelujah Mountains. The most obvious difference is the background. In video games, you often have a setting called draw distance, which shows how much of the background or distance, in this case, should be rendered, and when you look at the floating mountains in the first film, a lot of it is covered in fog while being blurred in order to reduce the amount being shown on screen. However, in the second film, you can clearly see a huge improvement to the background. Everything just feels open and alive, a huge improvement in draw distance, allowing for much more detail to be shown on screen. It feels like the scene has depth and multiple layers are shown in the background. You can also see the difference in the branches themselves, as they almost feel blurred and not alive as the ones you see from the teaser. Again, not stating that the first film looked bad, but in comparison to the sequel, you can really see how much the visuals has improved. The second shot focuses on Neytiri, and it mirrors a similar shot from the original film. The massive standouts are the eyes. The reflection and level of detail on the eyes is significantly improved, and you can really see the smaller details on her eyes, something that wasn't nearly as detailed in the original film. Looking at her skin, you can even see pores and hair follicles, as it almost reminds me of that comparison between the video game Horizon Zero Dawn and Horizon Forbidden West. The shadows and ray tracing improvement also stands out, especially if you compare it directly, as the original Neytiri, referring to the first film of course, almost has a glossy or shiny look to her face, which kinda makes it look a bit more CG now compared to 2009. She just feels more alive in this shot. Looking at this flying shot from above, it really makes me feel like I can just reach out and touch the water. Kinda makes me want to go for a swim, and if you look at a flying shot from the original film, again you can see the background is somewhat blurred, even zoomed in to avoid the amount of detail needed to be shown on screen. While in the sequel, you have a wide shot to really showcase what the designers, animators, and creative team has done with The Way of Water. You can even see the smaller detail in the water, which again just makes this feel much more alive. Moving on to Jake, the most obvious difference is his attire and hairstyle. Although he didn't have a full outfit in the first film, you can clearly see how well the cloth sits on his body during this flight scene. Just the way his hair moves in the wind looks incredible, as it is much more loose, while in the first film it was all tied up. Thus there was way less to simulate. Looking at his skin, in the first Avatar film, just like Neytiri, his skin is a bit glossy, especially around the shoulder area. The level of detail on his face is equal to that of his body, whereas in The Way of Water, you can see the skin texture has a huge improvement. We didn't get too many water shots in the original Avatar film, but considering that James Cameron did underwater motion capture in the sequel, it really shows in this teaser, as the way light refracts through the water really makes this an experience you know will be an unforgettable one in the cinema. I mean, James Cameron wanted to perfect underwater motion capture, as it was one of the reasons the sequel took so long to create, aside from the delays due to the pandemic. James Cameron didn't want to go the route of Aquaman, and although that film looked fine at the time, looking back at it now after watching this teaser, I feel that Aquaman 2 is going to be in some trouble when it releases, aside from the obvious reason.
My dog stepped on a bee.
I mean, Aquaman 2 was even pushed back from its initial December 2022 release due to Avatar: The Way of Water releasing that time, and DC knew that their water movie has nothing on Avatar 2. Moving on to the human settlement, this shot right here has so much going for it. Looking at Hell's Gate in the original film, likely there's about 4 layers as James Cameron was limited by the technology at the time. However, this shot probably has about 9 to 10 layers easily, if not more. Again, the shot just feels so much more alive, as you have movement in almost every aspect of the screen. My eyes just jump all over the place, and every time, as I said, when I rewatched this teaser, it feels like I find something new to experience. You have, for example, the Samson flying towards the screen, which has a different window by the way, troops running by the base, vehicles transporting weapons and equipments, the train running on the tracks, the base and buildings right behind that, the construction happening right behind that, and even further, you can see them mining. There is just so much happening on screen, and it amazes me that the team has put in so much time and effort to develop this world. One of the closing shots to the teaser has been quite controversial on the internet, as people said it doesn't look CG, as it looks too real. Well, it looks real because this is 100% CG. That is how far the technology of James Cameron has come. The way the veins pop out when the straps is pulled is how your hand goes. If you don't believe me, just make a fist really hard and you'll see the veins popping on top of your hand. Also, the lines on the thumb, the way the nail glosses, and the water surrounding it. James Cameron revolutionized filming back in 2009 with the release of Avatar, and I strongly feel that it'll be the same case with Avatar: The Way of Water. This was just some of the biggest differences I could spot between the sequel and the original, as Avatar was one of the reasons I have a bachelor's degree in design and animation. I did, after all, do a research paper on Avatar, so it's safe to say that from a creative perspective, that movie did amaze me, and it's one of the reasons why I'm so excited for the sequel. But if I missed something, or if there is a detail that stands out to you, let me know in the comments below, and for more Avatar content, check out the rest of my channel. Until next time, stay safe and have a fantastic day.